Hi everyone, it's Lisa Moore here, your instructor for English 102 online at Glendale Community College, and we are in week 8. So congratulations, you are almost done. In the last week or so, I have made it through paper number 1, which was where you gave me a proposal and you outlined your paper. I've made it through paper number 2, which should have been where you present the history of the issue, you present background information, pertinent context information. Paper number 2 was the introduction. It's like, because in a big paper, you don't write just an introductory paragraph, you write an introductory section. So it was the introductory section to your paper. And I just wrapped up the other day paper number 3, which is the heart of your paper. It's where you actually present your arguments. That paper should have opened. The first line should have been the thesis statement. Why? Because that's weird, right? We never open with a thesis statement. Well, you do when you've had an introduction section. So you are putting your thesis after the intro. It just happens that your intro is really, really long. So that paper number 3, should have opened with the thesis statement, and then you were to preview your 2 to 3 main argument points, and then you were to argue them using clear topic sentences, all that awesome research that you gathered. That should have all been in there. Now, you may have noticed that the instructions for paper 2 said 2 arguments. Well, yeah, you can do 2 arguments, but they would need to be 2 argument sections, not 2 argument paragraphs. So I had a lot of students who gave me a thesis and then 2 tiny, underdeveloped argument paragraphs. It's not enough. If you can't muster 2 big argument sections, which would be, a couple paragraphs apiece, I may have recommended that you add a 3rd argument point to get that kind of tripod effect, 3 main ideas, 3 arguments holding the paper together. Still on my plate is your paper number 4. Paper number 4 is where you researched the counter argument presented by the opposition, and then you presented any necessary concessions and your rebuttal. So, as you know, obviously, unfortunately, you guys are not my only show pony. I'm wrapping up an assignment for my in-person classes today. They write public blogs, so I'm grading some of those blogs, and then I hope that within the next 24 hours, I will have paper 4 back to you. And again, the structure there should be a very clear presentation of the opposing point of views argument. Those who oppose legislating, texting, and driving argue this. Here's some quotes from them. Here's what they say. Here's their statistics. And then in a new paragraph or section, you would then break down their argument. In past videos, I've mentioned to you guys that you need to not set up a straw man argument for your opposition. So don't present your opposing argument like they're dumb, like they're uneducated. Don't use a tone where you basically sound like these people are idiots, they're ruining America. This is not Fox News. This is not an op-ed piece. This is research. You need to have an academic tone through the whole thing, regardless of what your personal feelings are. And I should still see that in the counter argument and rebuttal section. Look up what the real opposition is, and then do your best to counteract it. So anyway, like I said, I should have those back to you within the next 24 hours. So I'm going to now talk to you about what is on your plate, and it depends on how you look at it. Either it's not much or it's a lot. Okay, so I also have some annotated bibliographies to grade. Those came in back toward the end of April, so I've definitely been focusing my attention on the papers. So that will be coming through. I talked to you guys about the opposing viewpoint. I got to grade that for you. There was a discussion about opposing views. Hopefully you took care of that as well. Okay, so coming up, discussion number 6, assignment, reflection, and review, where you're just kind of talking about the class, what worked for you, what didn't. Trust that I know that the pace of this class was brutal. So hopefully you guys felt some empathy from me and understood that that's why I'm so flexible with the due dates. It's because I know that you are adults with jobs and families and that this class is really rough. So I've been trying to be very flexible with you guys with those due dates. But you can continue to give feedback on other things in the class that worked for you or didn't work for you in that discussion. Your final paper, you may have on your calendar that it is due on May 6th. And I would say aim for May 6th, but I think I'm going to move the due date to May 7th, which is a Tuesday. I think that's going to be better for all of us. I know I'm not necessarily going to start grading it on like right as soon as I get them because I've got other stuff on my plate. So I'm going to give you guys that extra day. So in addition to the final paper, you're going to turn in your final research prospectus. I think that is it. I need to look at where your abstract comes in. You do need to write an abstract, and that is a separate, I thought that was in a separate assignment where you would turn it in. So I'm going to take a look at that. Let's talk about that final paper one last time, then I'm going to let you go. So what am I looking for in your final paper? You're going to take papers 1, 2, 3, and 4. You're going to gussy them up, and you're going to add them all together. So that means you'll have your proposal, but you'll have updated it so that it matches wherever your research actually took you. You're going to have an outline, but that outline will not have any space fillers in it. It will be a complete outline of your paper, and it will match the content. And I'm going to look, so here's how I score them. I pull up all your past papers and I look at the feedback I gave you, I look at what you did originally, and I look to see that everything's been updated. So you should have an updated outline that follows the structure given to you in paper number 1. I've been getting a lot of like free-form, wonky outlines where you guys have just kind of winged it on your own. And that's not what this class is about. Follow the outline that was presented to you. It's a requirement. So then you'd have proposal, outline, paper number 1 with that glorious, rich background of your topic and your issue, moving straight into that clear thesis statement where you state an argument that is actionable, and then 2 to 3 argument sections full of research, so much research, and then we've got that counter argument where you acknowledge the other side, because remember we're doing the Toolman style of argument, and then your concessions and rebuttals. You will then, the only thing I won't have seen from you, you need to add a conclusion to your paper, some sort of concluding paragraph to tie it all up and wrap it up, and then you will give me your references page. References should be the sources used throughout the paper, but there is also a checklist of the requirements of the types of papers, the types of sources I need to see, and the source minimum. I should double check it, but I feel like it's in the realm of 8 to 12 sources are required on this paper. I feel like 8 is on the low side considering how many separate sections you wrote. So I'm probably looking for a good 10 to 12 sources. They should all be in APA format. Do not give me the annotations with them. I just want a references page. Don't title it works cited. Don't title it bibliography. Don't title it working bibliography. Title it references. Everything must be in APA, and yes, I could glance at them and I could see in 1/3 of a second whether it's APA or MLA because I'm that big of a nerd. So if all of your sources, if some of them are in MLA, you're going to lose points. If your outline's not updated, you're going to lose points. But guess what? I'm not trying to take points away from anybody. What I like to do on the final papers with those of you who have survived this crazy class is, like I said, I pull up your originals and I look at your new one, and I look to see that you have made careful edits, that you have added content, that you've updated your outline, that you really worked with those papers to get that final paper the best it could be. And then I try to give you the best grade I possibly can. I want to see all of you who are finishing this class finish with a grade you could be really proud of. I am on your side here, and I know we are all ready for summer. Okay, I think that's all I have to say today. I may follow back up with you guys to make sure that we are clear on final due date, May 7th. And then I will have 1 full week to score those. So, give me some time on that. So final due date, May 7th. And how many sources? I think that we're going to be aiming for 10 to 12, but I'll confirm that with you. Okay, everyone, good luck. Give yourself a pat on the back, a hug, a high five, and I will see you in Canvas.